YouTube video, I want to go over the things that I would do if I started out now as a filmmaker to actually make good money. Because I think that as a filmmaker, you could easily earn $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000 a month if you do it the right way. Now, over the last couple of years, I've been able to do so myself. There are months where I earn $20,000 to $40,000 a month. There are months where I earn $7,000 a month, but it never really goes below that. And I am able to do what I love. I don't want to earn $100,000 or $200,000 a month if I don't enjoy what I do, because I always thought that this was impossible, but trust me, it's not. And I have filmmaker friends that are struggling, so I really want to start sharing these tips with all of you so that you can take your videos and your income to the next level. I want you guys to at least start earning $5,000 to $10,000 a month as a filmmaker, so you don't have to go paycheck to paycheck. You have some free time, you can finally relax, because financial struggle is the worst thing. So let me help you. So a couple of years ago, I was struggling. I was making maybe $2,000 a month, but I had so many costs as well, so I wasn't really able to live from it. But I'm very stubborn, so I just kept going. And then after taking many small steps, I was finally able to make it happen. So I want to share those steps with you. So the first thing that I want you to understand is that you need to find the niche that you want to operate in. Because if you think about it, every niche is different. Some niches will pay you more than others. So before you even start building your website or reach out to clients, I want you to figure out this. Because if you think about it, every niche pays different. And not all filmmakers are created equal, because some of them will earn more than others, and some will be more profitable than others. Some will put in more work than others while making more profit. So you always have to balance the thing that you love with how much money it makes and how much stress it can bring you, or how much stress it doesn't bring you. So I want you to start thinking differently when it comes to charging for filmmaking. Don't go to your friends and ask them, hey man, how much do you charge per hour? How much do you charge per day? Instead, I want you to think, what is the ROI of the work that I produce for my client? Because if you think about it, clients don't pay for the hour of work that you put in, they pay for the outcome. And if you start charging for the hour of work, even though they make a ton of money, then you are doing it wrong. And businesses don't hire freelancers just so that they can spend time filming. They hire freelancers because the client, they only think about the results. So what can you provide for them? They don't care about the hours that you work. They will care about how much revenue, brand growth, engagement, or new followers do they get from your video that actively engage as well. And the less time you spend on it, the better for them, because the quicker the results. So let's say, for example, you produce a $10,000 film, but it makes them $500,000 in profit. Then that film is an absolute bargain, because they just profited all of that money and you only cost $10,000. But at the same time, they grew a ton of brand awareness while making a profit. So that doesn't make sense. So there, for example, a percentage-based or value-based pricing model makes much more sense. And also, in my opinion, when you charge by the hour, it incentivizes slow work and you lose a lot of time. While if you charge by value, it incentivizes fast work and better work. But then also it incentivizes ROI for the client, which is important for you and for them. Also, the more serious the client is, the more likely they are to think about ROI instead of the time. So you can also identify serious clients with this. And then lastly, also, the more time you spend focusing on ROI provided work, the better clients you will attract. But at the same time, you will also have more time to actually work on these projects. Because if you think about it, the ROI is better, and therefore you incentivized to make good work. Therefore, you don't focus on the hourly work, so you might actually spend less time on it, but then you earn more, so the profit margins are bigger, and therefore you have more time. So you have to do less jobs. So this is how I want you to start thinking about filmmaking instead. Because filmmaking is a skill that you build over time, and if you build that skill with a business mindset, then at one point you become very valuable. It doesn't matter how much time you spend working on a piece. You spent all that time already in the past making sure that you can make clients money. So see it like that, instead of now getting paid the same as you would be paid in the beginning. Even though now you understand how to make clients money, and in the beginning you didn't. But all of this is still simpler said than done, because you need to start to understand how to actually charge the right amount for your clients. So in my opinion, the first thing that you need to do is you need to ask the right questions up front. So first of all, you need to ask, what is the goal of your video? Then you need to ask, what does this tie into your brand growth and your revenue growth? Then you can ask, what is the expected reach, sales, and conversion growth? And then lastly, I would ask, what is a successful video worth to your company? And even if you don't get the right answer, all of these questions will help you force them into thinking about the ROI of the video that you provide. And therefore you switch their focus to thinking about how valuable you are, not on how much time you work. They don't care about that anymore, because you've just made them realize the numbers that they will get from your video. Now, the second thing I want you to do is frame your price as a profit multiplier. So instead of saying this project will cost you $15,000, you'll need to say the following. This film is designed to generate at least 10 times the cost in revenue and engagement. And if we do our job right, this film is guaranteed to bring in much more than you have to pay for it. Here are some examples of previous work and previous profit. And then I want you to use ROI as an anchor for your pricing. So if the client is expecting to generate $200,000 in new revenue because of your video, then charging 20 or 10% is more than fair. And then another thing that you can think about is offer a performance-based pricing model. If you are more confident about your work, you can offer this pricing model. So therefore you can use a lower base rate, but then work with performance incentives. So you can, for example, negotiate a percentage of the conversion of that video with them. And therefore now the video becomes like a strategic partner and it's not just a sale. And then lastly, what I would do is I would compare the price of this video to alternative costs. So I would show the client what they would have to spend if they didn't hire you. So first of all, I would tell them what this would cost if they wanted to get the same result through paid ads. Then I would tell them how much an agency would normally charge for the same result. And then lastly, I would talk about the missed opportunity costs. So what would happen and what would they miss out on and what would it cost if they didn't work with you. And if you combine all of this with a good portfolio, you're guaranteed to make more money as a filmmaker. One last question that you may have is that how do you calculate the ROI of your film? So there's a couple of things that we need to do. First, we need to estimate the direct revenue and the impact of this video. So first we need to ask, does the video promote a service or a product? Then we need to ask, what is the average value of the sale? And then you can ask yourself, how many sales do they need to make to justify the investment of the video? And then once you're able to guess this direct revenue from the video, I would do the following. I would also account for the indirect benefits of the video for the company. So you need to ask yourself, is this video building trust for the brand? Then I would also ask yourself if this video is helping increase the social engagement of the company. And then I would lastly also ask yourself if this video is going to help the client, the company or the service increase the conversion rate even after the video has been produced. And the conversion rate is basically the percentage of people that buy when they visit their website or when they visit their lead magnet, for example. And then after this, I would use data from previous projects. So if a similar video, for example, of a client helped them increase their sales by 10%, 20%, or 30%, I would use this video as a testimonial. And then, for example, if one of your past videos tripled the engagement of their socials, then I would also explain how much in ad spend or meta ads or Instagram ads this would save the client. And then lastly, I would clearly showcase the cost versus the benefit one more time. So we could, for example, say that with an audience of 100,000 people and a 2% conversion rate, it would be another 2,000 customers added to the client. For example, that if each sale is worth $500, it would be another $1 million of revenue for the client. And then at the end, you could, for example, also say that even if this video just provides 10% of that, in the end, it would still be a 5x return. So yeah, these are some things that I think about when charging a client or when looking for clients. And hopefully this helps you do the same thing. But there's one last thing that I want to talk about, which is the different niches and how they pay differently compared to each other. So this is also very important because each niche pays differently. So let's go over a couple of examples so that you understand those. And then I want you to make sure that you pick one that is easy to start in, but is also profitable. If there's one that's even more profitable, but very difficult, I don't want you to focus on that one. I want you to focus on one that's a bit easier, which can later help you transition into the next one. So I've written down here a breakdown of popular niches and what they pay. So let me go over them quickly. So first of all, we have wedding films. So these are storytelling driven, which is fun. They're emotional, which is fun. And couples are also willing to invest. It is not a bad business model to go with. So typically they pay between $1,500 and $5,000. And it's also a good audience to have if you want to teach wedding films, because people that do wedding films, if they learn from you, then they will be able to make their investment back quite easily. So let's say, for example, that you charge $1,000 for a course, then the people that make this wedding or buy this course, they will be able to earn that back with one wedding. So that is also one thing to keep in mind when you are choosing a niche, if you want to later get into course selling or if you want to sell products. So then we have real estate videos. And first of all, this one has a high demand and it's great for steady income. It's also really good for networking and for word of mouth. Now the budgets, they will range from $300 for quick property tours to around $3,000 for luxury listings. So if you can find a network that helps you provide jobs for luxury listings, this can become really, really profitable. Now it's not as fun fun. There's no storytelling or anything involved, so it gets a bit mundane, but it's a really good way to start. Now then also, if you want to teach people how to do these, I think it's cool. However, you cannot really go in depth, so there's not that much to teach, but the people that then do buy from you, they'll be able to buy from you quite easily because they can get their investment back quite quickly, but there won't be many intermediate filmmakers that will want to buy from you. And then you have corporate films. Now here, there's a lot of big money, and the reason why there's big money here is because these big companies, they have marketing budgets and they want high quality work. And I think the budgets here can range from $20,000 to $100,000, I think. Now the good thing here is as well is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a big crew. These people, they do want to see professional work, so I would get a crew involved, but you can make it look more professional than it actually is. The thing is, like these days, you can get jobs filmed quite easily without being a big crew, but you can still make it look like a big crew. To be honest, like I did a job the other day by myself. I just had my small FX3, I had my little microphone and my Fujifilm, and people actually didn't think I was very professional, but then when they saw the result, they were happy. But during the shoot, I think I could have presented myself a bit more serious because I was getting paid $2,000 a day almost. If you do that, I think it can help later on with the networking effect and with them actually hiring you once or twice more, because sometimes some people, they won't know the result, some people will, and they will hire you again, but you also want the other guys to talk well about you. Now then we have fashion videography. Now this is creative, it's high end, but it's also highly competitive. And I think editorial shoots don't really pay that well, but then e-commerce and product shoots, they pay much better. And I think here, depending on the brand and the profit margins, you can earn around $2,500 to $1,000 per campaign. But at the same time, it really depends on the brand. I think you can definitely charge more if it's, for example, a video that is going to perform and convert really well. And also think about it that the better you get at making sure that the content and the story that you tell captivates and relates to the audience and the ideal customer of the client, the better you can get paid. And then lastly, we have travel content, which in the beginning is not the best, and I wouldn't go straight into this. If you want to do, for example, YouTube, in the beginning it's very tough, so I would definitely do this on the side. I would definitely go and film commercials first, film the behind the scenes of those, try to grow, and then start charging sponsorships for those behind the scenes. And in this area, you can charge around $500 to $1,000 per 10,000 views. So let's say you are averaging 100,000 views per video, you can charge around $10,000. But it's very difficult to get to that point. It also depends on what kind of content you're making. That's why I'm saying like you can charge around $500 to $1,000 per 10,000 views, but it can also be much less if your audience is not from the United States. The content that you make is just entertaining and the audience that you're cultivating is not valuable, because if you're a company, you need to think about what the audience is that the creator actually has. Is it the audience that directly aligns with the product that you're selling? Then yes, it's valuable and you can charge a bit more. But at the same time, when it comes to like hotel shoots and tourism boards, it's also not the easiest because there is a lot of competition. There's a lot of people that want to do this, but there's not that much demand as in e-commerce or corporate shoots, because there's so many diverse ranges and niches of companies that want to get shoots in that sector compared to the travel niche. I would definitely try to get into this and start with commercials around your home for bigger brands and bigger corporate companies. And then I would film the behind the scenes of that to attract clients to work with you, because eventually when you do get an audience, you can combine it really well. So you can make the YouTube video, but also have that YouTube video be for the client. And that's where it becomes very profitable, because clients are now starting to realize that creators can do their campaigns, but also post those campaigns and have an initial audience watch those campaigns. If you go back to all of the points that I talked about earlier, if you can really hit home those points and you can communicate to the client that you can be very valuable and profitable to them, but at the same time really nurture the audience that they have, I think you can also charge much more in this sector. And then lastly, I also want you to communicate all of this value that I've talked about now into your website. So you need to make sure to add case studies and you need to make sure to add testimonials as well. And then in those testimonials, I want you to ask the clients to reflect all of the bullet points that I've talked here into those testimonials. If you don't have the portfolio yet, make a piece or an artwork with some friends for a company that could potentially really increase their brand value, their revenue, and their conversion rates in the future. And if you're able to do that, then start uploading it. But yeah, if you have a portfolio right now already with videos, but you don't have a website, make sure to communicate all of that on the website. Now, if you're looking for a website builder, I'm using Digicel myself. It's very easy to use. You can literally spin up a website within a day, and I'll leave a link below so you can check out the portfolio template that I'm using and how I communicated all of the value and the case studies onto there. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want more value and more ideas on how to make more money as a filmmaker or a creator, then check out more of my videos, or you can check out this one.